What is happening to you guys? And welcome to another episode of the Finn's Tailgate. I am your host, El Capitan. And tonight on the tailgate party that never seems to stop, it is a Phindicate Friday, Miami Dolphins style. We're going to get into some of the topics of the week, a little bit of rumors, a little bit of sunsings, everybody, all the UDFAs and restricted free agents, they're blowing kisses and winking at teams all over the NFL. The rumors are piling up. People are getting excited, and Dolphin fans love to take names and build their Madden team. Hey, we're going to get everybody. Cap numbers be damned. Money, not my money. I don't care how much money we spend in. Personally, I think shake everybody down. Get as much money as you can and sign as many people as you can and make it happen for Capitan. Thank you. We're going to get into a lot of that stuff. The Lamar Jackson stuff continues to percolate around the NFL. Teams are just wondering what the Ravens are going to do. And as far as I'm catching on my end of the whole thing, ain't nobody calling on either side. Ain't nobody talking to nobody, nothing. And that's okay. They don't have to. So, guys, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing if you're new. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, come over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, donate to the channel through Cash App, Venmo, or the Super Chat, or join the membership, become a member. Check out the Finn's Tailgate, myself. We got the Rabid Dolphin with Lou. We got color commentary coming at you all the time. You got DTA doing the Dolphins debriefs. You got Late Night Exhale and Broken Takes with your main man, Ali. Shake Money coming around. He's got some real interesting stuff going to be coming out here in the future. Shout out to our link in the description for our partners at Fanatics. Make sure you guys are checking out the links in the description for Fanatics and also some of the TFTG gear. Got all kinds of good stuff. You guys already know. Good. And also to our friends over at Doobie. And Doobie's got some, I want to say HB was telling me that they got something going on with some percentages. I do know that if you guys hit the link in the description and check out Doobie and stuff, they got something going on, some kind of promotion. So, and Backroom Collections, as you guys know, offer code TFTG will get you 10% off with them all the time. And so check out their link in the description, go to their website, check out all the cool stuff they got. All right. Shout out to everybody in chat. Getting in here early is my main man, California, SkylerNet time. And Carla, what's up, Carla? Let's go. Today is judo training day for Tua. No more concussions now. I didn't know that was the cure to concussions. Sure, whatever. QB is rated at 10th best in the NFL. Sure. Actually, PFF had him rated pretty high too. I want to say they had him at 45. I've got that somewhere. I got an article on that. 45th best player according to Pro Football Focus. So that's a ringing endorsement for Tua. Good for him. And I mean, let's go, guys. There is some rumors about Tua and the Dolphins having a little tiff right now as far as the Dolphins are being very coy about this fifth-year option and kind of on the fence about picking it up. I kind of understand it. There is something to be said about quarterbacks and players that play and how they play when there's incentives. And what I mean by that is a guy who's doesn't have his fifth year going, well, this fourth year is going to be a doozy. I'm going to make sure to light this BI up because essentially it's a contract year. Yes, they can franchise tag me, but what do quarterbacks get franchise tagged for come 2024? They might be freaking 47 million. All depends on what kind of contracts get signed. So, yeah, it's definitely something for the Dolphins to think about financially in the long term. If they picked up the fifth year option, it might pay dividends. Then again, if things don't work out with Tua and you, want to go with, the quarterback from USC, the Heisman Trophy winner, and you want to trade every asset you got to get up the board to grab him in the draft, if that's something they're looking at, or somebody else that is the apple of their eye, second or third young quarterback. I don't know. See, here's the thing, guys. And I hear Dolphin fans talk about this when it comes to the fifth year option with Tua about not getting it. And not getting it because in 2024, they'll look to the draft to get their future guy. I don't know if this team is in a position with a young quarterback coming in day one and not handling it. I mean, we've seen guys handle it, but like, I don't know. That would have to really be an absolute grand slam out the park as far as arm talent goes, athleticism goes, and scheme fit, and just working out and all other things. Because to me, this team doesn't have the time to wait for a young guy to develop into what he could be and still hit that win now window that perceptively all Dolphin fans believe that we're in. I think we all know that it's like a 2-3 year type thing right now with the currently constructed roster, with guys that we are paying, guys that we can afford. Who knows who we grab this year? There's definitely a lot of names out there that people are considering, players that are, winking across the aisle at the Dolphins too. So, everybody, make sure you're hitting the like button, please. Shout out to everyone in chat. John, my guy. What's up, John? Joe, member up in this. I was just about to ask when this was starting. Well, it's starting now, Joe. You're welcome. JC, what's up? Welcome to the Fiends Tailgate. Scott, what's going on? Our QB missed 3 of 5 games against top 5 defenses and played like a backup in 2 games that he did play. Much tougher schedule, much softer QB. Wow, Scott pulls no punches. Vegas has us tied for 11th with Detroit and the Jets at 9. Yeah, the Jets being at 9th, I know. I've seen that. Does Vegas know something we don't? Because here's something. The Raiders have essentially said no to Aaron Rodgers as of recent, which I wonder, honestly, because are the Raiders making a great decision by saying no to Rodgers, paying him the money? Because their defense isn't really that good. They got some players, they got holes, they got guys they got to pay, and let's be real about their division. Now, Rodgers would be great for the Raiders if they got him, because they're going to need somebody. But are they looking at Patrick Mahomes, Sean Payton now with Russell Wilson, who's probably going to do something now that Payton's there? And then Herbert. Let's be real. Herbert's damn good. Now, I think Rodgers can beat some of these teams, all this other stuff, but are they smart enough as an organization to say, yeah, Rodgers ain't going to just fix this, and if it doesn't work, it's going to destroy us in 2 or 3 years, and we're just going to have no shot. That division is so tight, and the Raiders have, found themselves in a real hard situation. But then again, is Rodgers the only guy that can save them? I don't know. And is that why the Jets? Because I think the Jets are going to go after Rodgers hard. I really do. I think they'd like to go after Lamar, and they'd love to get Lamar there, but I don't know how much Lamar is interested in being a Jet. I think freaking the Giants have a better chance of getting Lamar than the than the Jets do, as far as organizationally speaking and what he wants to do. But what's going on, Andres? DTA. Crazy Dolphin. What's up? Fins up. Hit the like button. Dolphin Don. What's going on, buddy? Shelby. Hello. John Featherland. You see you. Amicus. Salute to the Bills fan, Amicus. Kenna, what's going on? Jay, I see you, buddy. Hello. So I got a couple of the boys in the back. Ali will be up here as soon as he can, but I'm gonna bring Lewis and DTA up here. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, Cap?
Oh,
What's up, Fins family?
Yeah, you guys have heard some of the rumors going around. Did you know about Rodgers and the Raiders pretty much pulling out of the Rodgers race? Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, for me, I seen that the other day that the Raiders were basically saying they were out of the sweepstakes. So
I can't believe that. It's surprising, right? Are they conceding that they know that they have no shot in their division and that it's going to take more than a Rodgers?
It has to be. When I seen that comment come out of the building, I was like, man, for me, it kind of sounds like a rebuild, Cap. I think they're in rebuild mode.
A little bit, or at least they know they need to build that defense, with the likes of the offenses that they're facing in their own division.
Absolutely. Well, think about it. Josh Jacobs is probably going to be on the move. They let go of Derek Carr. I mean, the only real piece they have is Waller and Devontae Adams, if we're going to be honest.
Well, they got that dude on the D line that's pretty good. White boy, what's his name? God, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Max Crosby.
Yeah, Crosby. I like Crosby. That boy, he looks like a guy that might be up on murder charges one day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He looks like a guy that in a different place, different time, he's part of like a bad crew of guys. But yeah, I think they, and you got to kind of applaud their foresight in some ways to go, hey, the Chiefs just won the damn Super Bowl. The freaking Broncos are getting ready to do the Broncos thing and, figure a way to, in the next 3 to 5 years, solidify a Super Bowl run. That's what the Broncos do. They're going to get us. In the next 5 years, Broncos going to figure out a way to get a Super Bowl or at least to get to one or two of them. Are the Raiders playing the long game? Are they going to screw themselves? Or is this a reflection of their management and the GM and more pressing Josh McDaniels? Is this guy just people don't like him? I don't know. There's some things about the Raiders. Or is Belichick and Kraft reaching the long arm of fuckery into another division? I don't trust them, dog.
I don't trust the Raiders neither.
I don't trust nobody. I trust no one. Oh, man.
I don't know. For me, like I said, I think the Raiders should just rebuild.
Probably, I agree.
Let Devontae Adams go. Maybe not this year, but see if you can.
I don't think I don't think letting Devontae Adams is a good move. I think keep him because then you get a young quarterback and try to have a weapon for him to learn how to be a pro with and build up and kind of, unless they get a haul for him, but I don't think anyone's paying that money. Well, I don't know. He kind of signed a pretty decent deal.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you can get picks for him. And again, when I say rebuild, I'm talking about Waller, Max Crosby, put everybody on fucking sale.
Oh, so just fire sale this bitch.
Fire sale this bitch. Again, look,
I like it, dog.
I mean, Cap, you said it. Listen, Kansas City ain't fucking going nowhere as long as Mahomes is there. I do like the Chargers. I think they got bit by the injury bug. I think they're going to be better. Sean Payton obviously going into Denver is obviously going to be an upgrade. I think
it's going to shake that whole division up, bro.
Absolutely. So if I'm the Raiders and I'm already fourth best in that division, man, I'm fire selling the hell out of that and thinking about how I can fix this team 2 or 3 years down the line and let this year go to shit. I'm sorry. But again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking it too, dog. I'm going to be real. Like, it's either go for broke today or don't go for broke for 3 years.
Exactly.
Start saving your peanuts for 3 years, dog.
Right.
And I don't think they're ready to go for broke. I think they could get Rodgers, and offensively they could be formidable, but is that going to be enough in their own division? And I think they know it. I think they look at Denver, they look at the Chargers, and both those defenses are going to be something else next year. I think the Chargers defense takes a mega step forward next year.
I agree.
And I think that I think Kansas City just remains to be Kansas City. And I think they're going, yeah, you know what? We got to let this Mahomes thing, we got to let Kansas City's cap issue catch up with them. We got to wait for Sean Payton to do his Sean Payton thing, whether he either runs it in the dirt, which I personally believe that when the story is done and written, we'll hear about Sean Payton and the upper management of the Broncos a lot like we hear about the Cowboys and Jimmy Johnson. I think that's what story comes out when this is all said and done. I just see too many powerful people who like the spotlight that are going to bump heads. I really think so, man. Like, that's where the 30 for 30 in about 15 years, when it's all said and done, Elway and Sean Payton were throwing shit at each other in the hallway one day. That was the year they won the Super Bowl, though, so it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see it now.
Yeah,
I can see it now. Another interesting topic is, and Amicus actually found me on you seen this, DTA, that Derrick Henry, people are speculating on whether Derrick Henry will make it to the Bills. You seen that?
Yeah, I saw that shit. Amicus tagged me in it.
But wasn't he with Poyer?
Here's the thing, too. What's that?
He was with Poyer in that picture. Right?
Was it with Poyer? I thought it was with No, he was with Von Miller.
It was Von Miller. It was
Von Miller, yeah.
You're right. Dude, Von Miller's huge. How much bigger is Derrick Henry than Von Miller?
Yeah, I know.
He makes Von Miller look like a fucking wide receiver.
I don't know. I mean, and you look at the situation they're in financially and everything too, and contracts that are going to be starting and, well, at least taking big hits for them. I think in terms of like Poyer and Edmonds, it's going to be one or the other. I don't think they're going to keep both. Maybe even get rid of both of them. I don't know. But
I think
Henry,
Poyer's starting to slip through their fingers. I think they felt really good about Poyer, but I think Poyer is well, listen, you heard what he said about the Dolphins, right?
Oh, dude, he's all for it for the Dolphins and Tua. He's actually good friends with Tua. And then you look at Edmonds. Edmonds just in an article I came across today, what he said to them during the interview is he basically said, he said the Bills have been good to him and he's very thankful and appreciative of the organization, but he's going to test free agency and see how it plays out. That's basically what he said.
I have a quote from Poyer. He says, that'd be crazy to stay in the AFC East and come down to South Florida. I might have to put on my best suit and tie. I know Mike McDaniel's going to be there.
Yep.
That's a quote from him.
That's a quote. Absolutely.
So, and, do y'all know who his agent is?
It's supposed to, ain't it to us, athletes first?
No, it's Drew Rosenhaus.
Oh, it is. Oh, you know what? I did hear that today. It is Drew Rosenhaus.
Hold on.
Mr. Rosenhaus loves doing business with the Dolphins.
Miami. That's a fact.
Oh, you're talking about Poyer's agent. Okay, never mind.
Yes. Poyer's agent is Drew Rosenhaus, and he loves doing business with the Dolphins. Now, I got to be 100%. As far as an agent goes, he does a great job. As far as how much the Dolphins have paid for his products or his representatives, I feel like we keep getting fleeced by this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we're getting fucked. But, we were talking about this backstage. And we were talking a little bit about Fangio's defense. And I told you guys what I believe. I believe that, not only Fangio's defense, but I believe Chris Grier has been preparing this team from Brian Flores to then last year taking the next step forward of what he wants out of this defense as far as schematically going. And they're going to have pretty much only 2 linebackers out there at all points. Off-ball linebackers. There's going to be outside linebackers that are going to be playing on the line, but you're not going to know who's playing the outside linebacker role or playing the pass rusher defensive end role. Guy's going to say outside linebacker on him, a la Chubb and Phillips. And I kind of wonder, I think they might bring Ingram back on a cheap deal too and rotation with those guys. I thought he did all right, and as far as just a pass rusher role. But keeping those guys multiple, allowing them to pick up the flat in a essential cover 6 type of motion where they ball snap, they jump out to the flat and catch, setting the edge wide for the running back who, we've seen those screenplays where the running back gets thrown and the 2 wide receivers come up to block and he was spread out wide and comes back inside the line, and who's there to greet him? Phillips comes back because he dropped back into coverage, turned around right away, and that was his man to pick up that spot in the zone because it was everyone was spread wide. Anyhow, I think that's what they want, and then I think they want to keep 5 DBs on the field. And we were talking about it that 3 safeties will literally make you guess who's doing what. And a guy like Poyer can do that. There was the other guy who you were talking about, Lou, Bates.
Yep.
I think Bates prices us out a little, though.
I don't really think so, though, because I think Spotrac had him at like $14 million a year. And,
shout out to Mr. Zonka coming by. Appreciate you, Larry Zonka, coming by and smashing the like button. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, and I've said this, the first part I've said on Twitter Spaces and on other platforms. I've heard Fangio is enamored with Jesse Bates, right? But I haven't said this publicly because what we're talking about now about Poyer, he basically coming out and saying he would love to be in Miami. Him even mentioning in your quote, Cap, about Mike McDaniel. This is where I think we're going to see our first power struggle with Fangio and McDaniel. Because I think, Tua being a friend with Poyer, obviously Poyer's relationship with Tyreek Hill, and now him name dropping McDaniel, I think them guys, they would want to play with Poyer. But from what I heard, and again, this is not Billy Gospel, I'm just telling people what I heard. If Fangio is a Bates guy, I think that here comes the first power struggle. Because you heard in Vic Fangio's interview when he did his presser, he said it when I identify a player that I want, I will have no problem going and banging the table in Chris Greer's office. And from what I heard, Jesse Bates is that guy. So what happens if Fangio wants Bates, but Tua and McDaniel and everybody else wants Poyer? What happens there?
So I gotta imagine, and I know Chris Greer, this is the deal guy. So I gotta imagine Chris Greer will make it palatable for Fangio and say, listen, Bates and his people, they want $14 million a year. We're not gonna pay that. We're gonna want to pay Javon Holland one of those days. Now we do want a guy. So I'm gonna get you Edmonds for $40 million for 4 years at around 10 a year, 8 to 12 a year with whatever guarantees. And then I'm going to also get Poyer here for 3 years for $29 million or something like that, whatever they can get him. And I'll bring you 2 guys.
But isn't he already 32?
He's 31. He'll be 32, but that's why I say a 3-year. When I say a 3-year, I always take that last year and I make it like that option year.
The option,
yeah. Like it'll look eerily similar to how Cedric Wilson's 3-year contract was set up. He's got $8 million each year for the first 2 years, 5 of it guaranteed in both years. So he ain't going nowhere for 2 years unless you trade him. And the dead cap they'll carry will be for the full 5. And he can only make bonuses in those first 2 years, which then they'll say to him, hey, Poyer, you're going to make guaranteed $12-14 million. That's around $7 a year. You know what I'm saying? You can make up to 12 if you fucking go to a Pro Bowl, whatever. And he's still got, I think he's still got 2 years. And the third year is an option year, essentially. They could cut him and have no dead cap. They could pick it up. They could restructure and maneuver that money in the second year for the third year. They do that, you know.
But check this out, Cap, because again, when I look and I just see some of our young players that haven't even hit their contract years yet, right? They're playing on their rookie deals. This is the scenario I brought up about, let's say it's Bates and Edmonds. I think there is a way to get both. And I think this scenario that I put out here, I think, Cap, because I know me and you have talked about it and you will agree with this. I think you can get both of them. Because if Byron Jones comes off the books, or we know he's coming off the books, there's $14 million right there. There's one player, right? Instead of giving Christian Wilkins the bag, right? You trade Christian Wilkins because, again, what has Miami said? Oh,
Buddy,
we're
you
going to
know I'm all about, and I love Christian Wilkins.
And I love him too.
I just don't see how he financially makes sense for this football team.
Well, there you go. So if you, because what Miami said, they were trying to work out a contract extension with Christian now. Well, there you go. If I tell you, day 2 of free agency, you got Jesse Bates, a 25-year-old, and Trevane Edmonds.
Javon Holland.
And Edmonds at 20
Edmonds.
At 24, 25, right? And you get them, but you have to lose a Wilkins. Are you taking that deal?
100 million%, buddy. 100 million%. I would take both of them, but I still think that Edmonds and Bates equals to, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, Edmonds gonna get 10 mil a year. Bates gonna get 14. That's 24 to 25 million guaranteed. If they hit bonuses, that could be 30 million like that for those two guys.
What?
I don't think Christian Wilkins is gonna cost you 30 million a year.
Yeah, I think he's probably gonna be 17, 18.
Yes, but I think as far as how the Dolphins can structure it, I think Bates' first 2-3 years and Christian Wilkins' first 2-3 years, as far as whatchamacallit, money that counts towards the cap, I think it's just going to be a little bit too close to squeeze an Edmonds contract out of. You know what I'm saying? That's just how, like, I don't see how you get Edmonds and Bates even if you're not taking Christian. You know what I'm saying? I see a world in which the Dolphins maneuver money, ride out Christian one more year, wait till franchise tag, or let them, deal with whatever they got to do with the transition tag next year. I think they'll transition tag them next year. And that's the key. Ride him out, pay him his option year that they have, and then get a linebacker. Now they can get a more affordable linebacker. I think Zach Cunningham's going to be a little bit more affordable than Edmonds. Actually, I know he is. And I think that becomes a lot more possible with a guy like Poyer because of the allocated funds. I think he's only going to command. I think he's going to get some decent guaranteed money for his age, but I think the Dolphins in the short term for a 2-year deal of guarantees, I think that helps because then when Poyer is out of his guarantees, now you're paying Holland and insert ipso facto. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I think they can squeeze in again Nick Needham. And as important as the D-line is in this scenario, as much as I want Trey Edmonds, maybe the Dolphins don't give a shit about a Trey Edmonds. Maybe they say, I don't give a shit. I'll have a bunch of scrubs as linebackers. We'll get a bunch of Duke Rileys around here, which aren't terrible, but I'm only going to have them out there in 2 times. I'm going to have 5 DBs. I'm going to have 3 safeties. I'm going to have Trill Williams playing in the nickel as the man-to-man guy a lot, and then rotate him out with Nick Needham if they pick him up, which I think they're going to, and Poyer. And
here's the thing too. I'm sorry, Cap, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but I see a lot of people, bro. It's like, we can't afford this person. We can't afford him. We can't afford that. We're over the cap. We're maxed out, blah, blah, blah. You guys got to understand when it comes to the cap, we may be 16 million over the cap projected right now. But and we've already came up. I mean, if you go look at previous shows, we've talked about this ad nauseum. There's several different ways, several different combinations. You can create cap space. There's restructuring you can do. There's moving off guys, post a certain date. There's plenty of things that Miami can do. And let's not, whatever side of the fence you stand on with Greer, the one thing that we can all agree on is somehow, some way in Miami, he has always made things work, no matter the cap situation. He's gone out and got players we never thought we would ever get or even dreamed of having. The guy has made things work. So there's an abundant amount of things that we can do to negate the fact that we're 16 million over the cap. And we got to start being realistic about that. Yes, we are projected to be 16 million over the cap, but I don't think that that's going to be something we hang over our head as a limitation and saying that we can't afford anyone. We're not going to do anything. I just wanted to throw that out there. There's plenty of different things that we can do without handicapping the team.
I think the Dolphins quickly do some things if they want to and have upwards of $60 million in cap space to spend. Just a fact. Think they can do it at any given moment.
Yeah, well, Tony, that it saves you actually almost $16 or $14 million or something like that if you cut him after.
Yeah, after
so
June 1st.
I wouldn't say that that's nothing.
Yeah, I wonder this though, and we talked about this backstage in this rotation, and this might be something that Fangio even considered when coming here. We've talked about this for years about the ability of Byron Jones to play safety. If they decided to keep him, I'm just saying, they can lump some money. They could go back to that contract negotiation that they talked about with him. They could front load a payout for a restructure, keep him for one more year, and have, no dead cap the next year, depending on how they restructure with the bonus money. And he might be game for that. And especially because they're going to say to him, listen, pretty much the only guy playing man is sometimes we're going to ask the outside guy to play man, which you and Xavier will rotate on, and the nickel, which pretty much we're not ever going to ask either one of you to do that. We got Cater Kohu, we got Trill Williams coming back. We're going to have, the rotation of the safeties. If Byron Jones stayed on this team as the rotational safety / boundary guy, along with us getting a Nick Needham. Here's the thing, guys. The team we came into 2023 with, currently constructed with Byron Jones, all those guys, if they all came back and Fangio put them to work the way he wanted to, I think we are formidable, to say the least.
Well, and that's a very real possibility too. And that's such a great point, Cap. Like, a lot of people don't realize Byron Jones is staying with Miami is a very real possibility too. It could very well happen that he stays on the team. Maybe Fangio, knows he's got something in him and he wants to keep him here. And when you look at, in terms of the secondary alone, like, we're not that far off. That's why I was saying, like, even if you, like, in my opinion, to kill two birds with one stone, what I'm doing is I'm going to get a linebacker and I'm going to get a cornerback in the draft. And what I'm doing is not only adding depth and obviously adding a potential highly talented player to our secondary in terms of cornerback, because Nick Needham's gonna come back. You're also gonna I don't know what they'll do with Eric Rowe, but you still have Rome McKinley, Javon Holland for the safeties, and a couple of those other guys that we had for depth pieces. They may add one or two of them in terms of like Justin Bethel or what's his name. But you still got Xavier Howard, Trill Williams, Cater Kohu, right? Byron Jones is a question mark right now. But even if you move off him, let's say you draft a guy, not only are you replacing him, but you're also building on or continuously building up with the building blocks of youth, right? You have youth at that position.
And Chris Greer's done a really good job about doing what you're talking about right now, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when you do that, you know, again, not only are you replacing that position or that player at that position, but you're also adding more youth. And with youth, that means you're going to be on a cheaper contract. So you're going to have talent there that you're not going to be paying premiums on, you know, until that day comes. So, especially with Xavier Howard, you know, we can't sit here and act like we got another 6-7 years with him.
Well, I don't think Xavier Howard's going anywhere. And Ali, what's going on, buddy? You know, we're talking about linebackers and going youthful, and you brought this guy up, and we talked about it backstage. Simpson falling to the Dolphins in the second round, and I think
I'm not
it's a
gonna
serious.
lie.
You do what you
serious
can to get him.
possibility.
If that happens, you take him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. At first, you know, when I did the episode and what I thought afterwards, the guy is such a freak athlete. I can't see him dropping to the mid-second round. It ain't gonna happen. It'll be either the first round or the very beginning of the second round. This guy's gonna be taken, right?
Well, you know
But
what
then-
happens at the
then-
beginning of the second round, though. Those first 8 to 10 picks are guys that no one figured would be there, and it's guys like Simpson that are those guys.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, what you said, you know, backstage, we talked about he had an off year last year. That could have hurt his draft capital, and you know, but do also understand everything that we know up to this point is
Clemson had a bit of an off year for Clemson, for sure. They had a lot of changes, coach, all that shit, like
whole deal,
everything.
Yeah. So, but this is all pre-combine. The combine comes, his pro day comes, it could be a complete different story. So, but as of right now, there is a possibility this guy could be, you know, be landed, to be honest. So definitely.
Or at least be in striking distance that the Dolphins go, we want a few things out of this draft. And by getting these few things out of this draft, it's going to allow us to get the targets in free agency we want. If Simpson's there in the second round, 5 picks above them, especially if it's like the Eagles or, you know, if the Eagles are there at the pick, the Eagles love doing business with the Dolphins. We'll go right up there and snatch up there. I don't know where the Eagles are in the second round. I'd have to look. I know they just were at the Super Bowl, so they're probably not, but I don't know what picks they have.
You know, this pick actually would make super sense in a certain scenario. Lewis brought this up. I want to say it was in a space about, you know, people wanting Bobby Wagner on this team, right? And the only way I see we bring Wagner is if he agrees to a cheap deal. You know, kind of like
the Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, the Melvin Ingram deal.
Right,
and you draft this kid right behind him, so he's learning for that 1 year deal from the guy that's been there and done it all. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, too? That would be a solid off-ball linebacking room. You're talking about the captain in Jerome Baker. You're talking about a perennial Pro Bowler and Wagner, and then you have Tyndall, and then you some way possible land Simpson. That is a decent linebacking room, especially when I'm fairly certain we're not going to see so many 3-man linebackers out there, and you know, maybe early downs you'll see, you know, 3 off-ball linebackers, but like the Dolphins defensive scheme, I truly believe, is they're going to have 5 DBs on the field at all times, and they're going to rotate 3 safeties, and you don't know if they're going too high, single high, or who's playing the robber or jack, whatever you want to call it, who's coming down in the corner and playing that, and they're going to rotate their boundary guys, where like Cater Kohu will be out there, Trill Williams will be out there, and then you'll see him sitting up at safety. Do you know how confusing? I don't give a damn if you're Tom Brady. I don't care who you are. The guy who's lined up man-to-man on my slot wide receiver is now playing single high safety. Are you kidding me? That would fuck up anyone, bro. And I seriously feel like with a lot of the things I've seen the Dolphins do with these young guys early, Trill Williams, Nick Needham, Cater Kohu, playing them in multiple positions like that, I really think Fangio is going to take full advantage of it.
Yeah. That definitely sounds like a plan, to be honest. That would be a dream scenario for me regarding the linebacker. You get Simpson and Bobby Wagner, so you have him for that 1 year to be the mentor, the teacher. Hand the torch off, and they're only.
It would really come down to what are their plans for a guy like Tyndall.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely true. The other thing is regarding Simpson. The only knock that it's not really a worry for me. It's a worry for some people though. He gets caught up over
overcommitting.
Over committing. Yes, that's basically what I understood. And that can be. The thing that he has to learn is anticipation. And
well, who that reminds me of?
Who?
Landon Roberts.
Oh shit, that's not a good thing for me.
Well, Landon Roberts has been decent enough, and he's a lot of Landon Roberts gets a bad name personally. He does. He gets a bad name. In some instances he might be overpaid, but he's been the captain of this team or of the defense for a while, and he does a good job. They're gonna have to replace that guy. The Dolphins got to ask themselves, because I think if they brought in Bobby Wagner and talked to him and talked turkey with him, they could use that against Landon Roberts, and they might, if Landon Roberts gets close to the number they could get Wagner for, I think they'd go with him.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I brought up also, and I tried to bring up this in the space, but maybe I didn't articulate it properly. Is it possible that Vic Fangio has, because he mentioned that he, constructed some new coverage schemes that he thinks is going to work well, and he can't wait to, see what happens with them. Do you think that the prototypical type of player in each position that he normally would want on his team, could that change? Could be a different type of player? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so
what we think is the prototypical Vic Fangio guy may no longer be the Vic Fangio guy.
I said this a couple weeks back when before we hired Fangio, when I announced that we were hiring him and all that stuff. And I went back and backlogged and looked at Fangio and the teams and the defenses. To me, not that he's gonna have something completely revolutionarily new, but this Fangio defense is only a personnel scheme. Now, guys that are under the Fangio tree are trying to get guys to fit his personnel. I don't think Fangio operates that way. I think there is guys he's going to want if he can get them, like a Bates. I think that would happen if he wants them. An Edmonds, if that's who he thinks is going to be it. But for the most part, I really think Fangio likes what we have. Sprinkle in a guy here or there, and I think he can utilize the pieces. I think we're going to run a 4-2-5. That's what I think we're going to run a lot of. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 4-2-4. Right? Wait, was that 8, 9, 10, 11? Yeah, 4-2-5. Sorry. And I really think that we're going to rotate someone in the jack role. I'm telling you, bro, I really think so. Where because of how they'll take and showing the guy that he brought in, the quality control dude from what's his name that we just hired from
the guy from the Eagles?
Yes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name though.
I'm telling you, bro, he's looking at guys like Holland. He's looking at guys like Chubb and Phillips and what they can do, multiplicity in the front end, and he was going to want to couple that with multiplicity in the back end and fill in the middle with the front and the back end. That's the key. That's the key. And Jerome Baker, not that he's gonna. Jerome Baker's been doing it as the middle guy, going in and out, making that second level of the defense multiple. I think he's gonna make the front and the back multiple with the middle. And I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work good. I think it's going to work especially good in the AFC because you're going to get yourself a guy that is going to be playing in a linebacker role where his duties at any moment can be the spy. His duties at any moment can be the guy who takes anyone coming across the middle in coverage, and you don't lose your run gap stoppers. I'm telling you, it's going to be revolutionary. Mark my words. Hear what I'm saying, people, because when you see it and it does come this way, you'll know that El Capitan told you at first. Because nobody's talking about what I'm saying that they're going to do. Everyone's looking at what Fangio's done, and that's what he's going to do here. That's not who I think schematically we can match up with as far as what they want. You need more of those linebackers that the Niners used to have. We have none of those guys. So why is Fangio here? You know what we do have? We have a super multiple back end of young talent. And we have a front end that is also multiple. How many times in the last 2 years have we seen our outside linebackers drop into these soft zone flat areas to cover with their length, their speed, and their ability to play smart football? I'm telling you, it's going to happen, bro.
You're absolutely right, man. I agree with you completely. I think there's a lot more to Fangio taking that year off that he did than what people are really giving him credit for. People are just like, well, he just wants to see what positions come available the next year. No, that's bullshit,
he straight up told us he might stay here for a decade, bro. He's ready to stick.
Listen. The guy sat in front of a headquarter, multiple computer monitors, watching play after play. You know he's cooking, bro. He's baking some masterpiece that no one's seen before, and that's what separates the good coaches from the great coaches. And
bro,
that's
I don't know. As someone who I love defense, I've always loved defense. I loved playing it more than offense. Yeah, it's cool, to get the ball and either catch it or be a running back and stuff, because I did some fullback and things like that. But there ain't nothing like just being the guy wrecking everyone's shit. Ain't nothing like just being the destroyer of things.
That's right, Captain. And it's not easy. No, listen, playing defense is not the weak path. That is the hard
it's the hard path.
Because there's limited people in the world, or I would say in the history of football, that have been able to do it at a high level consistently. And the fact that there's so few, that's what makes defense so special, in my opinion.
Well, think about it. Running back as a position in a whole, it's just never paying. You know what I'm saying? You draft a young guy, they work out. The second they get paid, they never live up to the financial obligations of which they got paid. Look no further than Cook, who the Vikings are trying to get rid of. Look no further than the Titans, who, we're hearing about them wanting to get rid of Henry. You know what I'm saying? Look no further than Zeke with the Dallas Cowboys. These are all some of the greatest guys, but now they're getting a little long in the tooth, and that dynamic freak athlete that made them, it's a little harder to come by. You know what I'm saying? Tony Pollard and Josh Jacobs, those guys are going to get bags relative to their positions. They're going to be the biggest bags, but they're going to be good money. And, when they're on the hook, a team's on the hook for 30, 35 million in guarantees for one of these guys. By year 2 or 3, they're looking to get off that guy because it was money that was well spent, but they know that the time has run out, whether it's an injury, whether that $9 million ain't worth the running back position when you need to go young.
Yeah.
That same thing is happening to the linebacking unit because it's becoming too far and few between to find guys that are like off-ball linebackers, mind you, that mean everything to your defense because of it being a pass league, because of even the running backs are becoming more pass catchers, all of the dynamics of the way the NFL is moving. Now, we know it's only moved down a few percent as far as running goes. I think it was like 4%, 4.5% that it's gone down in the last 20 years. But that's neither here nor there. I think off-ball linebackers are getting harder to find. look no further than Zach Thomas. When you hear the things about Zach, he was so much faster than people thought. He was so much quicker. He worked so much harder. He was so much more diligent. The cerebralness. The guys, I don't want to say long gone are the days where, Ray Lewis, Urlacher, Zach Thomas, those types of off-ball linebackers are going to be felt, but the game has its ebbs and flows. Maybe it'll come back around again, but I just don't see it right here in the immediate future. You're getting more guys that are like Jerome Baker that you're asking to be multiple in a pass rush way or be multiple in a coverage way. Very rarely do you have a guy like Zach Thomas who is taking receivers across the middle, tight ends across the middle, and still gap controlling the run game or blitzing when he feels like it. You know what I'm saying? Or just hitting the hole, knowing it. They're just not out there. And maybe the demand for him will change, but I don't know. I guess we'll really see we'll know more on that front of how Fangio thinks it's going to be as far as what he sees the future of the NFL and what can be more dynamic. Because look, if you want to make a team one-dimensional, and we've seen that around here. A lot of teams want to take away the run. They want to make you one-dimensional in the pass. Well, offenses have said, fine, we were trying to pass the whole time. Now teams are trying to figure a way to either take away the pass and force you to have balance or try to get you to pass because they're scheming in ways to defeat the pass, So I wonder. It's a great conversation. I truly wonder. Because if you were going to go get a linebacker to be what you thought you needed as far as an off-ball guy, then go get Levante David. Go get Trey Edmonds. Go get one of these guys. These are the guys that are going to help you out. Drop you in the back. So, yeah, guys, coming up to the 1 hour mark. Let's go ahead and make sure everyone has hit the like button and subscribed. Got a little over 70 in the room right now for a late night on a Friday. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing, and checking out all the great content. We got myself with the Fins Tailgate. You got Lewis, the Rabid Dolphin. You got color commentary coming at you. You got DTA doing the Dolphins debriefs, whether they're long formatted shows, live shows, going to be some maybe recorded stuff, and definitely with the shorts and the short shows, he's having a good time with them. We're all enjoying them. And then, Ali with the late night exhale and the broken takes, Ali. Shake Money's got some stuff cooking in the back. Can't wait. Cash App, Venmo, the Fins Tailgate. Also, guys, support the channel doing super chat. Join the membership. Become a member. That is a great way to help support the show. We have, I like to say that we have the most trolls in the community over here. We got a couple of Bills members of the, Bills fans, members of the Fins Tailgate, which we appreciate you guys coming around with your smack talk. I'm glad to see people understand what it means to be at the tailgate party. Little shit talking don't hurt nobody. So I likes that. That's always my faves. And yeah, guys, make sure you're hitting the like button, checking out Fanatics link in the description, as well as link for all of our gear and a link for Doobie energy drinks, which are fire. And then a link for Backroom Collections, all of our great partners. Offer code TFTG hooks it up. And I'll have to get with HB. We were talking about something with Doobie, man. I know they got something going on. Can't remember what it was. But yeah, check out all the links in the description. And yeah, support and become a member. Oh yeah. Where's that? Boom, there it is. I'll put that scrolling. Choker Mafia. Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that Tua Tagovailoa is 45th ranked on PFF?
Yeah, I saw that. Higher than a lot of other players, to be honest, which was very surprising.
Minka Fitzpatrick was 44. Levante David was 43. Montez Sweat, which, dude, that guy was on fire last year, 42. And DJ Reader, which, I mean, he was pretty damn good. I don't know if he's 41, but whatever. I don't know. Montez Sweat to me was above him. I have a little article here real quick through SB Nation talking about this. Pro Football Focus ranks Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa 45th best player in the NFL. Recently released in their annual PFF 101, in which they grade and rank the top 101 NFL players from 1,728 players in the NFL in 2022. Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa ranked 45 according to Pro Football Focus's metrics, which Dolphins fans love to shit on PFF, but now that Tua is ranked 45th out of 101, they're fucking loving him.
Rightfully so, though, Captain. Rightfully so.
Oh, no. Listen, look, as far as metrics and numbers go, Tua has them. He certainly, from what he had the year before to what he has now, as far as efficiency and everything, he has made the jump. Having led the league in passer rating and quarterback rating this past season, it's no surprise to see Tua ranked so highly. With a grade of 89.1 out of 100, Tua finished as 8th best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Jacoby Brissett, and Andy Dalton. So just so you guys know, before you guys freak out about the 45th overall, where he ranked in here, Jacoby Brissett ranked higher, Andy Dalton ranked higher. This is why people don't take you seriously, PFF. How can you do that? Tua also managed to finish ahead of some of the league's best quarterbacks, including Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, as some of them. Dolphins also had 6 players on the list, 5th most in the NFL. Joining Tua on this list was Tyreek Hill, who was ranked 7th, Christian Wilkins, who was ranked 58th, Jalen Phillips, which was ranked 59th, which is crazy that they were 58 and 59, Jalen Waddle, ranked 66, and Connor Williams, ranked 98. The one player on this list that I'm wondering how the hell did he not rank high in PFF rankings is Zach Sealer. I mean, for snap count, like that guy, like what are we talking about? Zach Sealer's straight murking fools, bro.
And see, this is why I don't take PFF serious. Not only do some of their lists that they make don't make sense based
Jacoby
on
Brissett and Andy Dalton.
Yeah, higher than Zach Sealer. I mean, come on. In
addition, higher than Tua.
Yeah, and in addition to it, you know, the rumors have been proven that they take bribes, bro. And that's why I don't take PFF any serious. Even their ratings and grades don't make sense.
Everyone takes bribes, buddy.
This is true.
Just because you get caught don't mean that you're the only one doing it. This is America, and grease makes the engine go, and palms get greased for every reason. So I'm sorry. That was going to happen.
Yeah, this is true. I see what you're saying. It's just, it's a travesty because Zach Sealer definitely belongs on that list, to be honest.
I agree. And I'm glad to see Connor Williams getting his recognition too. That was good. So, Fox Sports, along with PFF, which I looked at them both, their top 50 free agents, they are eerily close. I think I closed PFF's. Oh no, I didn't. I have it right here. Let me see. Do they start? Yeah, they start from. Oh no, these are draft prospects. Wrong one. Yeah, here's the Fox Sports one. So odd, number one on top free agents on everybody's board is Lamar Jackson. It's a hands down. Then Javon Hardgrave is high up on a lot of lists. Darren Payne, which, I mean, they're going to have a hard time letting that guy go. Orlando Brown Jr. But number 5 on the list was kind of shocking. And above number 6, which number 6 is Derek Carr, they put Geno Smith. Now, I know he was comeback player of the year. Well, and all that stuff. But, man, dude, people really like Geno Smith, huh?
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that like him, actually, to be honest.
Bro,
he showed
Smith.
he showed a lot this year compared to what he's ever shown as a Jet or any other time that he's been in this league. He showed he can actually play. He can, call out the defense. He showed a lot of grit that I hadn't seen from him. And the Jets wish they saw from him when he was there. But I think it's rightfully so. I think he deserved it, to be honest.
I do, but I mean, I guess better than Derek Carr. I don't know. I don't
want to say he's better than Derek Carr, but you got to think about the Raiders had a horrible year this year, man.
And Derek Carr lost his football team. So
yeah, I mean, pretty much.
But it's a free agent, list. That means they would rather take Geno Smith for the future over Derek Carr, and I would rather have neither. I seriously wonder, is Geno Smith just a product of the environment that they've made over there for their quarterbacks? Because we saw what happened to Russell Wilson when he didn't have this many ready-made offense type of thing. How they're going to have that steady run game, using a fullback sometimes, and then just play friggin' backyard football at times. Honestly, I look at what Seattle has done for quarterbacks that are like that, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, and I seriously think that's what the Dolphins, with a more passing than running attack, that's what they want. That's what they want, and they think Tua can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand.
They also have Jesse Bates at number 7, James Bradbury at number 8, which Bradbury, he played amazing this year for the Eagles. Good for him, buddy. The Giants, really gave up on him, and wow, good for him. Daniel Jones is next on here at 9, which he's just above Saquon Barkley, which is odd to me. And Josh Jacobs is at 11. I would put Josh Jacobs over Saquon Barkley. But then we go further down the list to some names that I think the Dolphins, might be interested in, and names we've heard, Dalton Schultz, tight end. Is that the type of guy that the Dolphins view as a type of scheme fit offensively? Would they want to bring somebody like that in there? He's only 26 years old. He's going to get around $10 million a year. What about what's his name? Levante David on the defensive side. What kind of money do you think David's going to make next year? You think he's going to get over 8 million? DTA? Do you think he gets over 8 million, Levante David? I don't know. I seriously question what kind of money Levante David would get. If it was worth it money, I would love to bring a Levante David to this team. Let me get some of these names down here for linebacker. Let's see. The Titans being on a fire sale, do you guys think they'll let David Long Jr. walk? Man, I would love to get that guy. He's going to make good money, though. I would take him over Trey Edmonds. Let's put that in the poll. Which of these linebackers, if they all remained free agents, would you Dolphin fans want? Let's do. I'm going to put David Long Jr. on this too, even though I think they might franchise tag him.
Sorry, I couldn't hear like anything at all. It was just silence.
Oh, you're good. I figured something was going on. Let's see. Trey Edmonds we'll put on the list as well. If I'm on this list.
No, Michael K. My audio got messed up. I couldn't hear anything.
Ooh, you know who would be cool? The guy that played middle linebacker for the Eagles, and this could be a sweet value too. He might re-sign with the Eagles, but if they don't get him, TJ Edwards, that would be a nice signing.
Yeah.
That'd be
and I thought about even too, like grabbing a linebacker in free agency, one of these proven guys, knowing what we're going to get. And then also, again, that's where you could even double dip and then still draft a young linebacker. I mean, mind you, again, people don't know this, but when it comes to Eric Izukama and Channing Tindall, and of course you got Cameron Good as well. They were already set from the start. The minute we got them, it was already set in stone that they were going to be, for lack of a better term, redshirted their first year. So they weren't going to be seeing the field and playing. Channing Tindall, got a little sample size, but in terms of, what I just said, they were going to be learning. So we still will have Channing Tindall. We don't know what we have in him or, Cameron Good, but they do have the potential to be good. But just adding depth and adding youth, like I like the idea, me personally. Right now, we're in a good spot. We have a good window to win, and we have a team that is, I would say, almost fully built to go win a Super Bowl, right? You just got to lock in a couple of those positions and fill a couple minor holes. Once we get that figured out, you have a pretty damn good team. But I like the idea, and this just might be me, but I really like the idea of adding youth to as many of the positions as we can, especially in terms of talent, because again, then you don't find yourself in a situation like the Bills are in, for instance, where you have a lot of contracts up and, it's more, it adds to the fact that like right now our team's built how it is right now, but you have a set allotted amount of time before we're going to start having to pay people again. And it allows us just more time in that window before we have to have more contracts that are going to arise that we have to pay or sign extensions, stuff like that. So I really like adding youth, not to mention, they don't have all the wear and tear on their bodies. So, you have the potential of getting more out of those guys. They're young, they're hungry, they want to come and make big plays and make a name for themselves. So, again, that's where like a linebacker, I would even double dip, get myself a proven free agent, and then I would go draft one too. Add it to the Cameron Good, the Channing Tindall, and the linebacker core we have. We don't know how long, we're going to have with Jerome Baker. They can make a move with him or, at the very least restructure with him. I like Duke Riley personally. Like to see Duke Riley stick around. Landon Roberts, people feel one or the other way about him. Just is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I think one dude and the rest they just fill in. You know what I'm saying? I like what we said. If they got, I mean, Wagner, Tyndall, and got Simpson, that would be awesome. I don't think the Dolphins sign any linebackers till after the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if there's one of these top safeties that they really like comes in and falls, they might take somebody like that.
And yeah, Tony, but that's the biggest difference. Obviously they all lead to contracts, but the biggest difference in adding youth and signing young guys over going and getting proven veterans who are out looking for big contracts is it's less money. And again, there's even things you can do to negate that by front loading it with like guaranteed money or signing bonuses, that kind of stuff that doesn't count against the cap. But the difference is if you bring in youth, yeah, they're going to be up for contracts eventually, but it's not going to hurt you right now in your win now window, if that's what you want to call it. Whereas bringing in vets, you got to make the decision. You got to accept and apply that premium tag to them right away.
Yeah, but that might be what they want for the win now window too. Like they need these pieces. I guess it's just so hard to get a bead defensively what they'll do as far as free agency goes, because I don't know. I really don't know who and what type. Does he take a more hands-on approach with the linebacking unit and figure it out with young guys in the back end and go more of a base 4-3? I don't think so. I think there's going to be a lot of two linebackers on the field, with the outside linebacker, being able to cover the flat while using the extra DB to come up and play the third linebacker. I'm telling you, I gotta think that that's what he's gonna do, just because, unless they get a Trey Edmonds. If they got a Trey Edmonds, then I could see them saying, all right, we're gonna do two speedy linebackers. We're gonna have that would be fire too. If you had Trey Edmonds as one of your off-ball linebackers and Jerome Baker as the other, and then you rotated in Tyndall and whatever the fourth guy is, like a Duke Riley, you would be pretty well set. But where's that financial obligation take from on the defense, that extra $10 million a year?
Right. Well, and that's why I say to some degree there is going to be some handicap, right? Like you're going to have to sacrifice for the betterment. You know what I'm saying? It's basically the lesser of two evils. What can you sacrifice for the betterment of the team to some degree? But at the same time, I don't know, man. It's one thing we don't have is like we've got linebackers that do pretty good in the run. We haven't had a coverage linebacker in a long time. We're being ate up by tight ends. And I understand the defensive scheme is going to change. You got Fangio coming in, which, again, people need to understand that as far as, offenses go, teams, although Fangio is well known in the league and many teams have adapted, his scheme to some degree is for their defense. Most teams have. They also know how to counter it. So a lot of them know how to attack it, which that's where he comes in. Obviously, he's probably going to have things like he said that, hasn't been seen before that he wants to test out, and he's came up with, new things. But nonetheless, there's certain aspects I think that are overlooked by all this that's happening with the team. And, again, that's where like I was looking at guys like Diane Henley and a couple other guys in the draft that, yeah, they're good at the run, but they're coverage linebackers. Like, when's the last time we've had one that you can remember?
Well, we've been using the guys we've had, and honestly, Jerome Baker's been the best one, and he kind of took a little bit of step back this last year and a half or so. but I still think he's good enough. If you're looking for more of a coverage guy, again, that's where I'm thinking, well, I wonder what Levante David would want in the latter part of his career. Does he want the bag? Does he get the big money? Does he want $12-14 million a year? Because he can get fucked. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
does he come in and say, I'll take 14 a year, but I only want half of it guaranteed? I would be like, hells yeah, come on down here for $7 million a year for the next 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I would totally do that. I don't think so, though, because investments in the first round pick in Phillips, investments in a first round pick and a bag in Chubb tells me that they're going to prioritize that D line multiplicity, moving guys in and out, uh, flexing with that hybrid outside linebacker, and then vice versa that with your DBs using a jack or a robber. And I like that. I think that is going to be superb. So if they did that and they go, well, we're going to keep with what we got, then maybe Bates is the man. Maybe that is the guy that comes in and makes all that possible. I just worry. I just worry because, well, here, look, if Bates is going to get 14 and we get rid of Byron, that's easy. That's easy money right there for me to do what I think they're going to want to do. And shout out to Cater Kohu because he makes that possible. Cater Kohu makes that possible with his work he did this year as a young guy playing, some on the boundary, some inside.
Right. I love Cater Kohu, man. Again, cornerback's one of my favorite positions. I'm a big, one of the biggest Xavier Howard fans, but I like Cater Kohu. I just don't know about him on the boundary. And even if he does, he eventually he could be our full-time, cornerback 1, cornerback 2 or whatever on the boundary. But I don't know that if I was going to put him in the best position to succeed, I don't know that would be the boundary. And that's, where another issue I think we need to address is, bro, look what happened. Let's say we make it deep, right? We get into the playoffs and we're actually trying to make a deep push. This is where, I feel like we got raked over the coals last season is we had no depth. You got to look at the position offensive line, the cornerback, or basically just the secondary as a whole, including safeties and defensive backs, cornerbacks. You got to have depth.
Well, that's why a guy like Bates worries me. Because you pay a guy like that big money, and it prevents you from getting more people out there.
Right. And that's absolutely.
That's what it does to me, man. That's what I think about. I worry about cap manipulation / how are you going to financially make things work? It's such a crazy game to play. How do you construct the team while also continuing to figure a way to stay competitive? And then, that's why GMs get paid the money they get paid. Shout out to Craig with the $5 donation. He says Miami will have to make multiple decisions, and we may be surprised by a couple of cuts. The fans may be not happy about it. Yeah. Craig, what is a surprise cut you were thinking of? I would be interested to know, Craig.
Put a name on it.
Yeah, put a name on it.
You know how we do around here.
Yeah, I would like to know what was a surprise one, because to me, I think the fans would be ultimately shocked if they let Christian Wilkins go as a whole. But me, and Lewis was saying it earlier, I think that makes the most sense. I really do. Get the bag for the man. It would surprise a lot of people. But
I've been saying that for a long time. No one wanted to listen, bro.
I said it. I thought we should have traded him last offseason, Ali.
Yeah.
It would have made sense.
Yeah, you would have gotten so much for him at that point. You know who else I think is going to be traded, and not necessarily this season, but I could see it next season. And I know I'm going to get heat. I already got heat on Batman show a little while ago. Waddle. I honestly think, and
I knew it was coming.
I'm gonna
And
I'm
you
gonna
and Pete are hard. You,
listen,
Pete,
listen,
and
listen.
Color are
I'm
hard
gonna
on
make
that Waddle.
I'm gonna make this make sense for you. Okay. Unlike what Pete does or what I don't know what Color's been saying, but this is why I'm gonna tell you this, right? I understand that you have two of the fastest receivers, right? I understand that these guys are very polarizing. However, because we're holding on to them so tightly that we are lacking different style receivers to balance the offense. And that's why we get stuck in these situations that we get figured out. We get we get shut down if we take the foot off the gas a little bit to go to the run because we don't have the other style receivers that are consistent enough to be in this offense. And let me explain where I'm going with this, right? Well, everybody's arguing that we got to pay Wilkins, we got to pay Waddle, and we got to pay all these people. Javon Holland's gonna want his money eventually or whatever. I understand all that. Let me ask you a question, and this is I know this is gonna be tough for people to answer. You saw all the records that Tyreek was potentially going to break with all the amount of stats he was putting up and everything, right?
Yeah.
When he wasn't playing, did you see that momentum of stats from Waddle? Let me actually ask it a different way that makes even better sense. In 2021, we had Waddle here. Did you see polarizing record-breaking stats? Yeah, Waddle had a good season. He had just over 1,000 yards, but was it anything near what Tyreek was on potential going to do?
So
let's be real here. The reason that Tua was so successful wasn't because of Waddle. It was because of Tyreek, right?
I think all you guys are making the mistake when you're assessing Waddle that he's hit his ceiling. I
don't think he necessarily hit his ceiling. The issue is he's not a pure pass catcher, bro. He can't catch with his hands. That is the problem. This is my suggestion. Not necessarily this season, but next season, you trade him for whatever bag you possibly can get. And guess who's in the draft and you have all the capital to go get, and he would be perfect in this offense, let alone be the next. That would be the next Justin Jefferson. I guarantee it. And if we don't draft him, you're going to be on the sideline watching, right? Bro. Yes, that guy is legit, dude. That guy can catch any ball. It does not matter. He can even play with a shitty quarterback and catch balls and with his hands. He rarely drops them, bro. I'm telling you straight up, that is the man.
No, I listen. If that was the move, then I could understand it. Plus, you get younger, you get longer period of time, and I think day one he comes in and you've already fixed what you lost.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about paying him right away. He's going to be on the rookie contract. You can pay everybody else you want to pay and maintain the positions that they're at. Listen, I like Waddle. I don't want to trade him away or anything. But as it was said on that channel, I'm picking logo before player. And that's the best move in my opinion.
Player. I love players, and I want them to have happy and successful lives, but
yeah,
call me selfish. I want a Super Bowl, and I don't give a damn who gives it to me. Shout out to Roberto. He says the surprise is we won't cut Jackson or Eichenberg. Eichenberg's still a little too early. Jackson, to me, if they cut him, I wouldn't bat an eye at it. I'm worried Eichenberg.
Bro, why the fuck are we keeping either one? Like, come on.
Well, I think Eichenberg having multiplicity and being like the rotational guy and gaining some weight, sharpening his craft. I think there's a good use for a guy like that can play both sides of the line and be decent enough. Jackson's my real problem. Like
they're both equally bad. Here's my thing is Eichenberg. This was year 3 for him, right? This last season, or was it year 2?
Year 2.
Okay, so going into year 3, I mean, I guess we'll see. Maybe he's deserved of at least a third year, but the dude's so dumb he runs into his own guys.
Yeah, but Jackson is in year 4 coming up, and we don't know a fucking thing about that guy. Nothing. We know nothing about him. Whether it's injuries, whether it's we got to push him from one side or the other, he has been an utter disappointment. Eichenberg, I feel like they had an idea for him, but they screwed Eichenberg his rookie year. They said, hey, he can't play great, but he can play good enough, and we're going to plug him in every leak we have on the O-line in his rookie year. This year, I feel like they just really never let him settle in and stay somewhere. I think Eichenberg is our left guard starting next year. And I think as time goes on, I think people will be better pleased with him. I'm more interested, does Eichenberg keep what's his name? Roberts off. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name right now. But the dude that played a little bit in his stead when Eichenberg was out. Oh my God, I can't remember. I'm blanking. It's too late. Anyhow, it's kind of one of the reasons why I would like the Dolphins to just go get a right tackle. You know, don't worry about the weapons. Go young on running backs. Bring back Jeff Wilson as your guy. You have the restricted free agent with Sylvan Ahmed. Make that work for another year. Have them both figure it out over the year. Who's going to be number one? Draft. Keep the running backs fine. Keep the wide receiver room as is. Maybe depending on who takes the less money, let either Craycraft or Sherfield walk. Insert Braylon Sanders. Everyone forgets about Braylon Sanders, which to me was our poor man Slim Reaper that we could just never fucking get it to work out. And as far as the tight end room goes, there's some late day inline blocking tight ends that you can get, day 3 that I think would be decent enough to put in rotation around here.
Basically, Braylon Sanders was like the poor man's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Ooh, great. That was a damn DTA. That was very profound.
I disagree with that, only because the fact is that if that was the case, he was the possession receiver that we were missing this entire season. We didn't barely use the guy, bro. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't necessarily agree.
Bro, the size is the same, the way they run, the routes and everything. The thing is, and again, that's why I say poor man's. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's actually a really good receiver. That's why I say poor man's. He's basically.
I agree. He is a wonderful. He's a guy I would model for in a heartbeat right now if I was worried about it right this second. Go ahead.
But again, the comparison is going off of size and play. It's not a matter of talent. Clearly, they are night and day when it comes to the separation in their talent itself. But that's all I meant in the comparison. That's why I said poor man's. But again, with Braylon Sanders, we only got the couple opportunities that I could count on my one hand to see him play, because he was actually fairly good in college. Couple opportunities he got, he dropped the ball in a big moment. That already gave people a bad taste in their mouth about him. We didn't see much of him in action in terms of this last season on the field. So I mean, there still could be, again, looking at the comparison, give us a sample size of him, see what he got. But to me, when I look at size, I compare the size, the tangibles, that kind of stuff. That's who I associate or relate it to. Just not so much the talent. In terms of talent, obviously they are opposite sides of the country.
Yeah, I understand. I just want to go back a little bit about what we were talking about moving Connor Williams to left guard. I had a draft I was working on. I drafted a center with our second round pick, and then moved. And it's the premise of moving Connor Williams to left guard.
I would like that.
What do you think in the same draft? Later on in the 6th or 7th round, you draft another center to be the backup to the center that you drafted as your starter. How do you do that?
I guess I would just have to see on the players, honestly. You know what I'm saying? If a guy they say they picked up, late day 3, and he's got, he's just a freaking monster of a guy. He's just a fire plug. He ain't got the measurables, but he's had a lot of success in college. And he's a super aggressive fire plug type of guy that, could play inside, as far as a guard, and he played center. I would be interested in a guy like that for sure.
And
I'm always give me a mean son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And to Craig, I do think it's going to be Baker. I think that's going to be the surprise cut.
So Baker can be cut and the Dolphins carry nothing. I think it's after June 1st. I don't know. Could be before. But you could cut Baker and you don't owe him a dime and it don't go against your cap at all. He really got screwed. That could very well may happen, but I just can't imagine them cutting Baker and saying, yeah, we're going to have 0 linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess if they go, yeah, we're signing Trey Edmonds and Levante David, and they're going to change their whole deal and cut Baker and use that money, then all right, make it happen. Go younger, something like that. Sure. Howard, on the other hand, I forget. I'll have to look it up. What's Howard's over the cap thing? Hold on. Let me look at it. There it is right here. Just give me a second. What would Howard, I forget what his cap situation is. Because I want to say they really aren't in a position to trade or cut him. Isn't it pulling up? That's weird. I guess I'll set to search through the team. Oh, that's why they wanted me to do pop-ups. Okay, so Xavier Howard.
You know what I would like to? Thinking about it, bro. We got, if you're looking at it, we got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, who are like the Mighty Mouse type receivers, really fast, short, don't have all the size there, but they're, speed kills. And then you got Trent Sherfield, who I think honestly earned that wide receiver 3 position. He was very reliable, like 98% of the time. You could count on him to go out there and make the play. I like him, bring him back. And then, of course, you're going to have Eric Izukama,
I think Eric Izukama would be cool if the Dolphins put him in as a tight end.
Well, and that's what I was thinking too, like a hybrid wide receiver tight end. The thing is, you already had that in Mike Gesicki, and that didn't fit the scheme. Now, Mike Gesicki is, again, that's why he wanted to be paid as a wide receiver, because that's how we used him up until Mike McDaniel showed up on the scene, even though he's an actual tight end, right? It's kind of like a Kyle Pitts type of move, but a guy I like even just in comparison to, like looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown's brother, he plays for the Bears. He played part of the game when we went and played the Bears last season. Pretty decent receiver, but the guy's got the size, right? 200 and something pounds. He's like 6'5", 6'6", possession receiver. He'll go up and get it. You can put it in the end of the back zone where nobody can, or the back end of the end zone where nobody can catch it. He'll grab it. We don't have a guy like that, and the guy that we did have was Mike Gesicki with his, his height, and being able to, not going to say moss people, but you know what I'm saying, pluck the ball out of the air where only he can reach it. We need you look at Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and the receivers we're using, the guys that are like 5'10" and shit like that. You don't have a pluck it out of the air, or like a Devontae Parker, how we used him. He had that size. He could go up and get it. He's gonna beat you on a one-on-one. If you threw it into the back of the end zone into double coverage, he's gonna reach up and grab it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jerome Baker has 0 money guaranteed on his salary. So if they cut him post-June, they can get back $9 million. Same thing with Xavier Howard. He's only guaranteed $1 million, but his cap number's at 10. I could see Xavier Howard getting clipped because they could get back pre-June. They can get back $23 million. Now, if he makes it past June, then there's no way he's going nowhere.
Nah, they did an article. Shit, I wish I could remember what season. They did an article, but in terms of like what makes the most financial sense and
They're
where
gonna
they'll get
restructure
off.
him. They're gonna restructure
Yeah.
him.
Well,
Oh,
and
no doubt.
with X2, it wouldn't make sense financially to move off them if you did early. I think it was they were saying like 2025 or some shit like that.
Yeah,
So
and
you
again,
basically go ahead.
to me, I think we're pretty smart to move off and gather half of the contract with no dead cap for the following year for Byron Jones, where Xavier Howard, who's been the Dolphins and Xavier Howard have worked out deals a lot. So I don't see why. I just don't see why they wouldn't continue to do that. They've always been able to work things out. And
Well,
you're going to
that and
need.
he wanted to win, and look,
Yeah.
that all things considered, we're beginning to build a winning culture, winning franchise, and that's something I think you'd want to be a part of. Like he sees it now.
Well, I mean, he's been in Miami. Miami's played dirty with him a couple of times now, with the smear campaigns on him and with shaking him down for money. I think they've gotten past a lot of that and they understand each other in a business sense. And I think they know how to talk turkey with each other. And I think they get it worked out. I think it's pretty easy. You get rid of post June, gather $14 million back. Hold on, let me see exactly. Maybe it was more. Yeah, about $14 million back from Byron Jones. You restructure Teron Armstead. You restructure Bradley Chubb. You kind of have a hard time restructuring the Emmanuel Ogba this year as far as getting money back. Let me look at something real quick. Yeah, you're really going to have a hard time getting money back from Emmanuel Ogba. You kind of fucked yourself on that one. And you restructure Xavier Howard. You can restructure Emmanuel Ogba, but good luck. You know what I'm saying? He's already getting 15 million guaranteed, and I guess you could do that if you want. But Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Teron Armstead, the guaranteed numbers, and also to Emmanuel Ogba, those are your top 4 and guaranteed. You got 26 million, you got 19.4 for Chubb, you got 17 million for Teron Armstead, and you got 15 million with Emmanuel Ogba. There is a way for this team to figure out $30 million right there.
This is all they got to do. You can keep basically the same contracts. Take a lot of that money and front load it. If anything, front load that bitch, or either do two things. Either back load it, right? Either back load it for later years. They get less now, a lot more in the end, so you can add money to that, or turn that shit into a signing bonus. So let's say you take, whatever set amount of it, and you make that a signing bonus, right? Doesn't count against your cap. There's several different things they can do to where these guys still feel like they're getting guaranteed money. They're getting good chunks of money, but it's not going to hit you in the cap. Whereas if let's say you make it only like 1.2 or 3 million guaranteed,
so
signing bonus.
Here's the thing. Tyreek, all those guys I just named, Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, Teron Armstead, Emmanuel Ogba, Xavier Howard, those 5 guys right there, none of them in 2024 have guarantees. None of them. They all have no guaranteed money. This is why Chris Greer is a genius right here. This is what's changed the face of our franchise. He essentially figures a way that after 2 years with the team, or whenever you sign your contract, year 3, they can get rid of you. They can get rid of you and recoup there'll be dead money for sure, but they can recoup a significant amount back. So if in year 2 or year 3, depending on the structure of the contract, they want to go back to the table, all they could do is say, hey, next year, we're going to guarantee the same amount of money we're going to guarantee this year, and we're going to pay it all to you right now so you can help us with this cap. That's how it's done. He's really done a great job with that. The chick we used to have here, I forget her name. I want to say her name was Kim, and she used to do a lot of our restructuring. She was really good at making money happen now and front loading a payout and back loading the stuff, but the chickens came home to roost. Chris Greer has gotten really good at going, yeah, okay, we're gonna backload this bitch, but after that year and the next year, we have an out. You know what I'm saying? And players were okay because they were gonna get, they're not worried about 3 years later from the date that they're at. They're worried about year 3 now that they're in year 2. It's been a smart business plan. It's worked. It's what's kept Chris Greer around. That along with smart free agent pickups and just splash trades, whether it's splash getting rid of somebody or splash getting someone back. So that's what's odd. Yes, Dawn. Oh man, Craig, you're the man. Dawn. Yes, she did a great job for us with what she did. They really laid a lot on her feet out the door of putting us in the cap struggles, but hey, that's what they asked her to do. She just made it work. It can, I don't want to say it concerns me, but it keeps my eye watching what's going on. Dolphins really have been quiet about this. And you know what happens when the Dolphins get quiet? They're working. Business is happening. Chris Greer is on the phone. Things are maneuvering. I gotta wonder, are the Dolphins playing close to the chest as far as shaking down their guys with contracts to free up money? Why hasn't that happened yet? Why has that not happened yet? Do you have in chat? Why haven't the Dolphins, with all this potential cap space they could get with restructures, why haven't they done that yet? Does anybody have any guesses? I have some. Do you have any, DTA? Why haven't the Dolphins decided to start getting out in front of free agency? Why haven't they started getting out in front with finances and stuff like that?
I'd say, honestly, there's two things. Closed mouths don't get fed. If they don't ask about it, they don't approach the players about it. You're not going to have an answer and you don't know. Secondly, I think that although it was still a thought in the back of their head, the past couple of years, what they've been doing is part of it in the shadows, part of it out in the open, building this team to what it is today with all due plans of having a winning team and trying to go all the way, right? And so at that time, again, even though it was a thought in the back of their mind, they didn't give a shit what the spending was or what the number was on the dotted line when they were signing guys, signing contracts, bringing in star players. Now I think we're to a point where if they had done what you're talking about and they got out in front of it, I think that we would not so much be in the position we are now. Now, again, I still believe that even being 16, over the cap, you can still fix that, negate it with many different ways. But however, they should have got out in front of it so that it's not like a train wreck waiting to happen all at one time. Because now this offseason, instead, they're going to be scrambling, dude, to get all this done in a short period of time, to be restructuring with all these players. And basically, they have the leverage now because it's like, you're going to be stuck here and playing with us, but we're asking to pay less or whatever. You know what I'm saying? However, they restructure the deal. Just depends. But I don't know. Again, this is where I think like they should have slowly kept this at the forefront of their mind with every season and every off season and slowly work towards it. But again, closed mouths don't get fed. You got to approach those players on an individual basis and talk to them, their agents, whatever, approach them about restructuring. And that's where I think, like you said, if you got to backload it or if you want to front load it and say, hey, instead of your signing bonus being, 1.8 million, we'll give you these multi-millions as a signing bonus, this much guaranteed. Your contract year will start where, let's say you're only going to get this much of the cap hit this year, and the big money's not going to start coming out until like the year after next, or like what they do with Tyreek.
So, and I seen a couple people in chat picking up what I was kind of putting down. I think the Dolphins are wondering how much money they're going to want and how much money they're going to need. And I really think that the Dolphins are waiting to see what happens with Lamar Jackson.
That's definitely a real possibility too.
We talk a lot about this, about who would make sense to trade. Christian Wilkins would make sense to trade. And it would make sense to trade him to a team that needs, for that team to operate, they have certain ways they like to do it. They're in need of a pass rusher, edge rusher. They are in need of a defensive interior. Their D-line needs help.
I'm telling you right now,
free agent signing like Christian Wilkins, a trade signing like Christian Wilkins.
I'm telling you right now, if that's because it is a very real possibility, and there's obviously rumors even circulating within the community, the NFL community. If you're going after Lamar Jackson, it's going to involve a guy like Christian Wilkins and Tua. Tua will be in on that trade offer.
See, maybe, but I don't know where the Ravens sit on it. But let's be real, the Ravens need a quarterback. They're going to lose one.
So they're taking Tua. They're taking Tua, a good guy like Christian Wilkins, and maybe even draft picks on top of that.
Well, see, now I don't know about draft picks on top of that. I mean, I guess the Dolphins can give them the second, which they don't have a second round. They got Roquan Smith for it. It would appear in that sell if the Dolphins gave them Tua and Christian Wilkins, mind you, 2 first-round picks, a 5th overall pick, and a 16th pick, a guy who's a Pro Bowler, a guy who is a budding quarterback who just had his best career year up to date, also picking up the 5th-year option, then trading Tua with that 5th-year option makes sense as well for the Ravens to say, hey, I got him for 2 years. You know how the Ravens like to do their quarterbacks.
Right.
It gives them not just a 1-year trial period. It gives them a, hey, let's try it out this year, kid, and next year we'll give you the bag in your 5th year, which I guess they don't even need the 5th year in that scenario if you want to be real.
But that's what they would do. They want,
and then give them the 2nd round pick, which they don't have. So then they would still have a 1st. Then they'd now have a 2nd and a 3rd. They could get back in their draft board, and
they're going to take at least like Tua and one of our star players and a pick. I still think that, but I also too looking at it like they're also going to have to agree to pay a bag to.
Well, you know who
Lamar,
else they need over there?
Right away.
And I don't know their cap situation, which actually I can look it up real quick. Let me see what their cap.
And you got to remember too, Cap, is most teams are not going to value Tua maybe the way the Miami Dolphins value Tua.
Oh no, and well maybe they value him higher.
I don't know about that, but
I don't either. I'm just saying. There's 2 sides to that coin.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Let's see. They have $24 million in cap space estimated, and that's before they decide to shake down anybody that they have under contract. Some of the big names they have under contract of guys that they could get some money from would be Ronnie Staley, Marlon Humphrey, Mark Andrews, I guess. Roquan Smith, who just got that deal, they could immediately shake him down. They could figure out a way to scrape together some money for sure. It's an interesting thing. I always wonder what the Dolphins are really doing, because it's never what it appears to be. And if any, until the rumors start coming out and the dots start getting connected and I start getting from some of my sources what they're telling me, it's all just speculation at this point. They're not opposed to making people aware of what they want to do or like to do once the time gets done. And let's be real, when that office gets excited because things get known and a couple of the office people get wind of what's happening, they can't keep it together. They're all fans. They're working for the Dolphins. They're fans of that team. Let's be real. I don't know. It's definitely a questioning type of situation of how the Dolphins might want to handle things, because to me, that's the only sense I can make of it. How they couldn't even sign Christian Wilkins right now if they wanted to. Not with the cap number. Well, I guess they could, but they couldn't sign him and make all their draft picks, not without shaking people down for money. You know?
Yeah,
How's that
that's
even
true.
possible? They can't do it. They financially can't draft the guys they got and probably pay the guaranteed money in the cap hit with only 16 million that they have. So they're gonna have to do something. Are they waiting for the target number? Are they waiting for the target number in which they know they want to have as far as finances go?
That could be too. And then you look at Miami, you know, they just said now on top of Christian Wilkins wanting to get the bag and he wants to get paid, you got Zach Seiler, who's according to his agent, coming for the bag too.
Well, not necessarily coming for the bag. They want an extension. I think Zach Seiler is a guy that will remain affordable, making anywhere from 4 to 6 million guaranteed with some incentives. And I think what they're more interested in is long-term security with the Dolphins. And I think the Dolphins would be absolute fools to not go to the table, to not say, yes, Mr. Seiler, we appreciate all the great work you're doing around here. We're going to extend you. And you know what? The Dolphins are totally about this. Look no further than the Mike Gesicki, Durham Smythe circumstance. They pay Smythe, they franchised Gesicki, and they said thank you, but no thank you. So not that I think they'll franchise him, but I would give Zach Seiler a 3-year extension, $22 million, $25 million contract with like, you know, I don't know, whatever the hell it is I can get away with guaranteed 18. You know what I'm saying? 19 guaranteed. That's what? It's a little over $6 million a year in guarantees where he can make up to 25 or 26 million. That is a steal for a Zach Seiler, bro. That is a steal for that guy.
So, funny thing is, too, is I liked the production that we were getting out of Justin Zimmer before he went down, too. You know, he was a practice squad guy from the Bills. He actually went to college and played next to Seiler at the same college. And I like the production we're getting out of him. So you could potentially...
I like, you know, Chris Greer and his scouting department as far as finding interior defensive linemen. They've been pretty decent. And I feel like our scouting department can fill the hole of Christian Wilkins leaving the team before they can fill a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? A running back. Anything, any position, tight end, positions we know we want, we're probably going to be looking for. We're definitely going to be looking for linebackers. We're definitely going to be looking for running backs. I think we could fill losing a Christian Wilkins. Now, if they keep him and they pay the bag, it makes all the sense in the world. It really does. But it will make equal amount of sense to move off of him as well. So either way, I'm going to be a happy camper. Maybe they just ride it next year with Christian Wilkins. Maybe that's what they decide to do. I don't know. I don't know. But as the interesting rumors come out, I will keep everybody informed. I will keep everyone in the loop when I hear things. I'll play the Rumorville game, but you guys know me well enough by now. I've been doing this a little over a year, about a year and a half almost, and I only come up with guaranteed hard evidence once I've vetted it through. And I've got a couple of rumors I've been hearing, a couple of things I've been hearing about, but it hasn't checked all my boxes yet for me to come up here and go, guys, you need to hear what I've been hearing. I mean, I'll always bring things that come to my attention to the audience, but I will stand up on my perch and say, this is happening, or you're not going to believe what I think might happen or what I'm being told. I've only done that maybe 2 or 3 times, and I think I'm 3 for 3 on all of them. So that's pretty good. The one that was a swift kick in the nuts was the trade deadline the year before last. So that was, dude, I'm telling you guys, Deshaun Watson was coming to Miami. It was a done deal, and Nick Caserio and them said, hey, we want another first-round draft pick, and Chris Greer goes, I'm not doing it. He goes, nope. It was down to the minutes, the seconds. It was so on the skin of everyone's teeth. And giving a little bit of pre-context to all that story, the Tagovailoa camp was aware of it the whole time. They were also aware of the Dolphins talking to Brady. They have never felt comfortable with the Dolphins being the long-term home for the Dolphins, for the Tagovailoa family. And I still think that they don't. And I feel like that is – what's up, John? Yeah, I know, right?
Did you see this?
I still –
I'm looking to confirm it.
Yeah, he's been saying that for a while. Listen, I'm sure the Bills are looking to sign him. They've been looking to sign him. But that came down. I think with the Deshaun situation, the continuing Lamar situation, and the Brady situation, it's been pretty abruptly clear that the Dolphins higher ups are looking for potential upgrades at the quarterback position. They're comfortable with Tua. They hope he can do things. I think along with these concussion issues too as well, it makes. But I think the Tagovailoa camp has never been sold on the Dolphins just as much as that the Dolphins haven't been sold on him. It's kind of what it is, and they're running through the motions, and maybe they stay together for the kids. But I don't know. This is such a weird offseason this season. We could pivot in a way that no one couldn't see coming, or we could, double down, but still find ourselves with a really good out for 2024 to pivot again. It's one of the reasons why Chris Greer still has his job, because the guy has remained flexible in a year-to-year type of situation. I think all us Dolphin fans thought by now we would have something figured out with the quarterback position. Whether we were like, yeah, Tua ain't the guy, or yeah, Tua is the guy. The fact that we're in this limbo with our quarterback position, I'm looking at how they're sitting on the money, and I'm like, oh, Chris Greer's doing the Chris Greer thing. He's not going to let himself be boxed into a corner and in a situation he don't think he can control. Got to respect that, bro. You got to. I don't have to like it, and I don't. I wish I had certainty on some things, but it is what it is. Guys, make sure you guys are hitting the like button and subscribing if you're new. Let's get those likes up. Yeah, DTA, that's all I'm running for tonight, man. Make sure you guys catch DTA doing some of the shorts. You guys know Ali doing the broken takes and late night exhale. Color's going to be coming around. Oh, thanks, buddy. We had Lou on here earlier. Love getting to get Lewis on these muzz. And then myself, you already know. Cash App, Venmo, the Fins Tailgate. Everybody, make sure you guys are supporting the show. I appreciate everyone who hit the super chats today. Become a member if you're not, guys. We got the great links in the description. No need to bring up all the banners, but here, I'll just bring up this one. Got the Fanatics.
Check out the go ahead. I'll let you finish.
The Doobie energy drink, the Backroom Collections, and our stuff as well. So what are you gonna say?
And be sure to hit the notification bell, you guys, because a lot now, like right now, the schedule is a little bit wonky, but we're all working on it. We're gonna have things cemented, and it'll be routine here soon. Also, El Cap's got, and it sucks because we all got to bite our tongue, but man, he's got a lot of cool stuff in the works for you guys. Hit the notification bell. You guys are going to be stoked. Become members. Honestly, there's going to be a lot of exclusive stuff just for you guys. A lot of things are like, the wheelhouse has already been turning behind the scenes. Check out the last few shorts I just put out recently, if you guys haven't had a chance. Also, there's going to be another one premiering tomorrow, I believe 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then I'm going to be bringing another part of Dolphins Debrief to you guys, where it's going to be a open panel based discussion, kind of like a Twitter space. So
I can't wait for it, bro. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna really fill in. It's really gonna fill in those times, man. Especially for the off season. Especially with all the stuff coming too. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I got stuff planned too, man. I got we got a giveaway planned for you guys, like a raffle type thing. I got I want to do a mock draft with you guys. I know you guys have been talking about that, doing like mock drafts at least once a week with the chat, and then this new afternoon thing's gonna be called the Afternoon War Room. So it's going to be fire. You guys are going to enjoy it. Keep, hit the notification bell. You'll always be notified.
Yeah, man. Good. Guys, again, and DTA alluded to it. We're really got some stuff cooking in the back. And, it's going to take some time. But when it comes out, members will find out first. They'll see what's going on. And I think you guys are going to be really impressed. I think you guys are going to like it. And we're gonna have, man, we got.
Hey, can one of the mods delete Tony's last comment, please?
Why did he want it deleted?
It's talking about, yeah.
Jeez. All right, let's. I got it. Boom.
Let's not do that anymore.
Yeah, let's not do that. Listen, do you know what it is? If there's gonna be some community garbage going around, it's gonna be here. You know why? Because we don't hide our hands when we throw rocks. We don't stick our nose in the air, and we ain't gonna let you stick your nose in the air. That's it. Sometimes shit hits the fan and people get shitty. And this is where it's gonna happen. We will stay entertained. We can be educational. We can do shows a little slower paced, a little bit more in-depth type of nonsense, some speculatory stuff, some rumors and stuff like that. But dude, we ain't putting on a mask. This ain't fake. We don't give a shit. It's exactly what it looks like around here. You can have your cake and eat it too with the Fins Tailgate Network.
This is the place, where everything is exactly what it seems. We don't hide behind anything. You know what it is. The most genuine place you can come. And either way, we also got, a different cup of tea for whatever flavor you like.
All right, guys. We will see everyone. I think Ali's going to be doing something tomorrow. We'll see. So make sure you guys are hitting the like button on your way out. Share the video. Tell a friend. We'll see you guys next time. Fins up.
Salute.